المراكز الحضرية والمناطق الريفية. بتضمن شراكتك مع آي راديو الرؤية عبر منطقة جغرافية واسعة.
ما تفوت فرصة توسيع نطاق رسالتك باستخدام آي راديو. شارك أو أعلن معنا الليلة وخلي صوتك مسموع في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان.
Are you tired of the long queues while transferring money? Well, MTN Momo International Money Transfer is finally here. You can now send and receive money to Uganda or Kenya, or receive money from the rest of the world. Experience financial freedom and easy life with Momo. To access the service, dial *200 *1 *3 hash.
iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. iRadio.
ومرحبا بك مرة ثانية مستمع راديو في كل مكان. لسه بتسمع للبث المباشر لبرنامج الدون. نواصل بفقرتنا بتاع ريزيدنس ريبورت اي راديو. Yes, get back to us on the same line. Hello radio.
Hello. معك أكبر.
أنا منو؟
مانويل.
صوتك ما واضح، معليش ارجع تاني واتصل علينا. 23 دقيقة بعد الساعة 6 في استديوهاتنا. اتصل علينا وقدم تعليق بتاعك، ورينا شنو الحاصل في المنطقة اللي انت فيه. راديو.
Manuel.
Yes, good morning.
It's Jane well.
Jane, welcome.
Thank you, brother. Manuel, we are good and well. Weather is okay. It was just very hot in night. هنا إيمانويل لسه بنتعرف بالسلام في جنوب السودان. زي ما شفتوا إنه there is IO. There's IO in the arrest. There's IO who is in Juba, and there's IO who is outside Juba. We are calling for these IOs now for the dialogue to happen. It is again complicated because it needs this function of IO to have dialogue first, so that the dialogue with the IO and as well will go on. So we are calling upon our politicians that this country called South Sudan is very big. It's bigger than whatever interest you have, and also the interest they have, it is just cheap interest because the interest of money, interest of leadership is cheap. But the bigger thing is the country. The expensive thing is the leadership, is the country and the people. These are the most expensive thing that you will never get. So we cannot sell our country to such a cheaper thing that we need to be leaders, we need to be people who have money, to reach our children abroad and all this. These are all problems people make you fight here and there. So let us play a politics that we fight on our mouth, right, but sit in our country. You better die. If somebody wanted to kill you just because you are a politician in South Sudan, we let us accept to die in Juba. These things of running away and carrying arms and fighting, I am encouraging all South Sudanese citizens and politicians, please, we better die. If somebody wanted to kill people in order for him to be a leader alone, let us accept this. But we better be in Juba so that this country needs to be built. This is very strong message I'm sending to the politicians all over. Because now it is actually tired. People are running, people are coming, people are running, negotiation of peace and all this. Just achieve things. Country is struggling, citizens are struggling. We will never gain respect. My fear is that the world is actually disrespecting us, and we will never be a citizen that is recognized in another country of the world. And this is because of you, our politicians. So you have actually sold our country. You have actually disregard our country. And this is not good. It's not good. Some of you fought for 21 years for this country to be a country. But again, the chief thing you are doing, the politics, dirty politics you are playing, it will never sell us to the world. Please come back. If anybody wanted to kill you just for him to be leader, let that person kill you. The South Sudanese will see. Thank you.
Alright, thank you. ده رسالة هناك بتاع السلام والوحدة بيجي من دينغ من مدينة واو. دقائق قليلة لعناوين الأخبار. راديو. حلو راديو.
أكيل صباح الخير.
صباح النور.
أنا كشوف في أوسي.
نعم تفضل كشوف.
بايك في استديو وتحياتي لكل الإخوة المتصلين وباقي كل المستمعين. أنا أتبعنا كويسين في أوسي أوضاعنا مستقرة ما في مشكلة. إيمانويل أنا بشكر كل المتصلين بمشاركاتهم الجميلة. إيمانويل بالاتفاقية بتاعنا لأنها قاعدين فوق الجنسان كله تعيش إنه الجنسان يكون فيه سلام ويكون فيه استقرار. السلام المناشط في 3 حاجات يعني لازم الشعب أو الحكومة بتاعنا يكون له دور فوقه ويكون في تنازلات. هو الاختلاف الأول المشكلة إنه في اتفاقية بقول يتم دمج القوات، والطرف الثاني بيقول لازم الصواب بتاع القوات. ده مشكلة الأكبر كما فيه تأخير تبني الترتيبات الأمنية. استوعاب القوات والدمج القوات لازم يكون في تنازل إذا كان في جلسة أو في حوار بين الطرفين. المشكلة الثالث الديمقراطية في جنوب السودان. هنا ما في شفافية، ما في ديمقراطية. شو المشكلة من 2000 وإنه كان في 2013 في انتخابات يعملوها 2015 يعني عجي أو السلام بدأ اختلاف في داخل السلام إنه يكون في انتخابات داخل منها يقود الانتخابات مع أغلبية الآخرين. ظهر اختلاف في اختغالات في أبديت في الجيتان وفي شنو يا 2013 فيه مشكلة. المشكلة الثالث هو الموضوع بتاع إنه دكتور مشار ما بيكون في ساحة سياسية كويس. الزول ده ينزل من السياسة زي ما حصل إن الدكتور الدوب نعبان أو أي زول ثاني سياسي يقعد في البيت ما يمارس السياسة. فهنا السياسة للكل جنوبي هي زول إنه حق يمارس سياسته في داخل الجنوب. اللي بيكون شنو ده موجود في الدستور جنوب السودان. فأعتقد رابع أشياء دير إن الجنوبيين يكون دور فوق كلها. أي زول مواطن جنوبي يكون فيه دور إنه جنوب لكل الجنوبيين والجيش الوطني للجنوبيين كلها. يعني ما كنت في استواب. شوف داخل المشكلة في استواب شنو إيمانويل؟ إذا كان يعني في ناس خرجوا من التايجر مثلا يعني في 2013 مشوا في الغابات في أيوه ومشوا في استواب. إذا رجع هذول اللي رجعوه أخير يا بكون ما عندي اسم. حتى الكلام ده أصل في ناس بتاع قرن كونش وناس حكم بتاع على النيل ده بيعملوا استواب تعجيل بتاعه باقي ما يسمع باقي ضباط دي ساكر. شوف الاختلاف ده كيف هنا بكون ما في ثقة من المقاتلين اللي كانوا في الغابات عشان يرجعوا في داخل القوات. هنا بكون الجيش الوطني بتاعنا بكون جيش ما شمولي، جيش بكون فيه يعني زي ما حدث بتاع الفيلم بتاع إسرائيل. يعني في ناس دخلهم في جيش ولما رجعوا في الغابة كل ده أصلا إنه جوزنا بقى دولة ثانية بقى دولة.
نعم.
من الأقطاع بتاع جنوب لاغو بتاع 72. فهنا ده أقطاع لازم يعني ناس تقعد فوقه وينظروا فوقه بود إنه الجنوبيين جنوب السودان للجنوبيين. شكرا.
ولا جنوب السودان للجنوبيين. شكرا لك راديو. نعم وده بيجيبنا ل 30 دقيقة بعد الساعة 6 في استديوهات اي راديو. صباح الخير. راديو جود مورنينج.
جود مورنينج.
يس.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور. منو معنا؟
ما قرقوس فنان.
قرقوس تفضل.
شكرا. بالنسبة للبرنامج بتاع السلام كان وقعوا في حدث. You see, this peace was signed not to be in Salman. That is why after now there is no issue. Second to that, even now when they come here to Juba, all of them they just got this different. They don't. They did not calculate about this. نحن ما افتكر إن السلام ده يمشي كيف. لا ما ممكن يا جماعة كل سنة تيجي يطردوا تاني ويجي يسجنوا. لازم تجهز نفسك. لأن السلام اللي ما فيه حقيقة ده أكثر يكون ما في مرة واحدة. هذا الشعب تعبانين. ألو.
يس.
هذا الشعب تعبانين ما في قروش ما في شنو الماء يزار بقى صار للناس. فعنينا دارين السلام مش المشاكل. إما القاعدة بتاعنا ده ما بيهمهم من المواطن تعبان وكده. يعني يالو في أمريكا في وين الجروب برضه نعبوا برا كله. المواطن يا لسه تعبان. بالنسبة لأيوة برضه أيوة السري ده يعني بتوين السيستين لما الدكتور يرجع بالسلام تعبان ده ينقى يفضل نفسه في الجبهة هنا نعد نفسه قال هو أيوة والسلام بتاعه ما مشى قدام. برضه تاني ده الوزير بتاع السلام ستيفن باركو ده هو بنعرف نفسه ده نيو شيرمان بتاع أيوة.
نعم حنتكلم في موضوع ده بعد شوية بعد العناوين بتاع أخبار غاركوت.
أنا بعرف لسه ما بيجيب السلام عشان سلام يجي يقول لك عليه فوق من سجن ويمشي قدام بالسلام والسلام بيوقع.
alright شكرا لك غاركوت من POC. نمشي لعناوين الأخبار.
This is iRadio.
The iRadio.
Your eye on South Sudan.
Now, and it's time for news headlines. Lasuba Memo is right here with me in the studio. Good morning, Lasuba. Give us the headlines for today.
Good morning, Emmanuel. Joseph Akile. Up at 7 o'clock, the economic cluster headed by Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel has approved 62 billion South Sudanese pounds to support farming activities ahead of the upcoming rainy season, with key resolutions aimed at stimulating economic development in the country. President Salva Kiir has relieved Foreign Minister Ramadan Mohammed Abdallah Goj and replaced him with his deputy Monday Semaya Kumba. And the Congolese national Makula Kintu, whose citizenship sparked a diplomatic row between South Sudan and the United States, arrived in Juba yesterday and was welcomed by immigration authorities. This and many more.
Thank you لسوبا ميمو. ده عناوين الأخبار وهنقدر نلقى التفاصيل بعد حوالي 27 دقيقة من الآن. نمشي لفاصل ونرجع.
To the eye of South Sudan, and it's a brand new dawn.
iRadio, for reliable and objective news from across South Sudan and beyond. Tune in to iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. iRadio, for news you can rely on from across South Sudan and beyond.
Good morning.
Yes, a very good morning to you once again and welcome back from the break. Now let's continue with our program and let's talk about what is happening within the SPLA-IO, where a group of members yesterday selected Stephen Parkwall, who is the Minister of Peace Building from the ticket of the SPLM-IO, as the interim chairperson of the main peace party, deputized by Federal Affairs Minister Losuba Wongo, and also this will continue until Dr. Riek Machar is released from house arrest. Now, they held a meeting in Juba yesterday and decided to choose Agok Makur also as the SPLM-IO Secretary General. This is aimed. This came actually amid escalating division involving the group of Stephen Parkwall and also the Deputy Chairman Oyed Nathaniel, who is not in the country. Now let's listen to Stephen Parkwall, who spoke to the journalists or the media yesterday after the consultative meeting. And after that, we're going to hear from Oyed Nathaniel.
The SPLM-IO leaders comprising of members of the Political Bureau, National Liberation Council, members of Transitional National Legislative Assembly, members of the Women, Youth, Students, and Veteran League and party cadres attended the SPLM-IO leadership consultative meetings under the theme Overcoming the Toils of Nation Building on Wednesday, 9th April 2025 at Farms Africa Hotel in Juba. The consultative meetings attended by over 500 members from the stated categories deliberated on the SPLM-IO commitment to peace, the status of Honorable Nathaniel Oyed, Deputy Chairman of the SPLM-IO, and formation of the interim leadership In the light of the ongoing issues, the leadership consultative meeting resolved as follows. On the SPLM-IO commitment to peace, the commitment to the revitalized agreement on the resolution of conflict in South Sudan, the SPLM-IO reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement, both in letter and in spirit. We believe that the agreement is the sole pathway to achieving lasting peace and reconciliation among the diverse communities of South Sudan. 1.2, the release of the SPLM-IO chairman and comrades. The National Liberation Council urgently called for immediate release of SPLM-IO chairman, Dr. Emmanuel, and all comrades and detainees following the recent clashes in Nasir involving armed civilians and the South Sudan People Defense Forces. 1.3 called for immediate halt to the ongoing military offensive. The SPLM-IO leadership urged the peace parties involved in the ongoing military offensive to create an environment conducive to peaceful dialogues. 1.4 commitment to dialogues. By stopping military operation, the current interim leadership, the SPLM-SPLA-IO, will have the opportunity to dialogues. Number 2, on the status of Honorable Nathaniel Uyed as Deputy Chair of the SPLM-IO, we have resolved to delink ourselves from Honorable Uyed Nathaniel and enforce resolve to treat him as a former Deputy Chairman and Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the SPLM-SPLA. This decision is informed by the fact that the headquarters of the SPLM-SPLA-IO is Juba, seeing the formation of the government of revitalized government of national unity. Therefore, the SPLM-SPLA-IO, which is part and parcel of the national unity government, cannot be led or take orders from self-exiled leaders. Party and government decisions are always taken where the seat of the party and or the government is established and not via remote. Number 3, on the formation of the SPLM-IO leadership, the National Liberation Council nominated and approved the following leaders to lead the party at this junction until when the SPLM-IO chairman, Dr. Emmanuel, is released. And they are as follows. 1, Ambassador Stephen Parkwall, interim chairman of SPLM-IO. Number 2, Honorable Lasuba Rodoro Wamu, deputy chair, the SPLM-IO. And number 3, Honorable Agog Makur, Secretary General of the SPLM-IO. As we move forward, the SPLM-IO remain resolute in our mission to advocate for the right and dignity of all South Sudanese and to foster a future rooted in peace, unity, and reconciliation. The questions as whether this decision that has just been taken by the National Liberation Council is in line with RRCs as a legal framework that has established the article. We will tell you that it was in line with it. And not only that, the NLC that has just taken this decision, the second largest organ of the party that function between sessions, before and after the convention, which is the largest organ of the party. It is the lawmaking body of the SPLM-IO party. So the decision is legitimate and constitutional.
legitimate and constitutional. ده هناك ستيفن باركوال وزير بناء السلام، وهو بيتكلم للإعلام امبارح بعد ما قال إنه أعضاء من الحركة الشعبية أو بعض من الأعضاء في الحركة الشعبية في المعارضة في جوبا هم اختاروه كالرئيس المؤقت للحركة الشعبية في المعارضة لحد ما يتم الإفراج عن الإقامة الجبرية للدكتور رياك مشار النائب الأول لرئيس الجمهورية. برضه هو بيتكلم عن التزام بتاع المجموعة لمواصلة تنفيذ اتفاق اتفاقية السلام المنشط، وكمان التزام بتاعم بالمناداة من أجل الإفراج عن الناس اللي لسه هم أو المناداة بتاعت الناس من أجل المشاركة في عملية بتاع السلام. خلينا نمشي لفاصل إعلاني ومنه هنجي نسمع الريسبونس أو الرد من ويت نتانيال.
Attention! Cholera is a dangerous disease. It can kill within 3 to 4 hours if not treated. But here is the good news. The oral cholera vaccine is now available to protect you and your family. The oral cholera vaccine is safe and free. Everyone from 1 year and above, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, can receive the oral cholera vaccine. However, do not give oral cholera vaccine to persons who are sick or have cholera and children below 1 year. The vaccine is given orally in the mouth and it's usually in 2 dosage, dose 1 and 2, to strengthen your immune against cholera. The second dose is given between 2 weeks and 6 months after the first dose. With 1 dose, you are protected for up to 6 months, and with 2 doses, you are protected for up to 3 years. The oral cholera vaccine protects you from severe cholera symptoms and reduces the spread of cholera in the community. Do not miss to be vaccinated during the oral cholera vaccination campaign happening in your area. Remember, even after getting vaccinated, it's important to continue practicing good hygiene and sanitation. Always treat your drinking water to make it safe. Use a toilet. Never defecate in an open. Wash your hands with clean water and soap, especially before eating and after using the toilet. And if you or anyone you know shows signs of cholera, seek immediate treatment. If you or anyone of your family member or community is experiencing cholera signs and symptoms, report immediately to your nearest health facility, health worker, or community leader for medical assistance. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health or call our toll-free number 6666. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and partners.
Good morning, it's iRadio.
ومرحبا بك مرة ثانية مستمع راديو في كل مكان. لسه بتسمع للبث المباشر لبرنامج الدون. معي أنا إيمانويل جوزيف أكيلي. نمشي ونسمع لنائب الرئيس الحركة الشعبية في المعارضة وكمان الرئيس بالإنابة في البيانات بتاعه دائما اللي بيطلع منه طبعا اللي هو ويت نتانيال، وهو بيرد على كلام أو القرار بتاع الأفراد أو المجموعة برضو الموجود في جوبا هنا من الحركة الشعبية في المعارضة عن اختيار بتاع ستيفن باركوال كرئيس المؤقت للحركة الشعبية في المعارضة. نسمع من ويت هو قال كده امبارح.
It has come to our notice through the social media that a group led by Ambassador Stephen Parkwall, a former member of the SPLM-IO political bureau, convened a gathering on 9th April 2025, in which the group referred to themselves as SPLM-IO leadership. The group claimed to have resolved to commit to the revitalized agreement, called for the release of the SPLA-IO chairman and comrades. They also called for immediate halt to ongoing military offensive. The group also resolved to delink themselves from the Right Honorable Yet Nathaniel Pierino, referring to him as a former deputy chairman of the SPLM-SPLA-IO, and decided to illegally appoint themselves as interim chairman, deputy chairman, and secretary general of the SPLM-IO. The SPLM-IO observe the following: that the gathering, out of 28 members of the SPLM-IO political bureau that is found in our constitution, Article 21, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution of the SPLM-IO 2015. The gathering was attended by only 7 members of the Political Bureau, 2 of whom were suspended. That is Ambassador Stephen Parkwall and Honorable Agog Makur, who was suspended from the party. That out of 155 national MPs in the both houses of the TNLA and the Council of States, 12 members attended the gathering, including 1 member of Parliament, Honorable Ding Lam-Yuan, who was suspended, and some few honorable members of the state assemblies. That the gathering was neither a meeting of the Political Bureau, which requires at least 28 members. It was not also a meeting of National Liberation Council, NLC, which would require 326 members. Nor it was National Convention, which required over 5,000 members. Since the meeting of the National Liberation Council usually convenes 3 times in a year in regular sessions or in an extraordinary session whenever deemed necessary, only by the chairperson, PB, or on a written request by at least 1/3 of its members. Whereas the quorum for the meetings of the NLC is 2/3, majority of its 326 membership, Article 20 of the Constitution. Meanwhile, the Political Bureau meets once every 2 weeks, and an extraordinary meeting of the Bureau may be called by the chairperson on his or her own initiative, or on the recommendation of the Secretary General to the chairperson of the party, or upon a written request to the chairperson by at least 1/3 of its members, provided that the quorum of the 2/3 or simple majority of its members is met. That is Article 23.1.8.6 of the Constitution of the SPLM-IO 2015. In light of the above development, the SPLM-IO would like to point out the following. The gathering was part of a conspiracy. You are aware about the arrest and detention of His Excellency the First Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar and other political detainees. His Ambassador Stephen Parkwall himself was also briefly arrested. We are yet investigating the circumstances under which he was quickly released, and hence now is causing trouble in the party. In Juba, our members, if they are not in hiding, those who are moving openly, they are either having thick skin or compromise. The agreement states that the President of the Republic shall be the incumbent, who is His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, and the first Vice President shall be the Chairman and the Commander-in-Chief of the SPLM-IO. We applaud the efforts of some of the regional countries in IGAD, the efforts of Kenya, who appointed the special envoy, the efforts of Djibouti, who is chairing the IGAD summit, the effort of Ethiopia, the effort of the Sudan, and others. We also applaud the AU, African Union Commission, and the panel of the wise, which has just concluded its visit to Juba, the Republic of South Sudan. though they have fell short of meeting His Excellency, the First Vice President. The UN Security Council, the Office of the UN Secretary General, who is seized of the situation in the country, the UNMIS and other partners, the Troika countries, the US, Norway, and the UK, for their stand with the people of South Sudan. We call upon the members, or rather, IGAD Partners Forum. We call upon all the guarantors, as aforementioned, to safeguard the agreement from being abrogated. The gathering, failing to meet the requirements of the provision of the basic documents of the SPLM-IO, was not only illegal, but also null and void. The product of this meeting, wrongly constituted and initiated, and also ill-fated, and aimed to abrogate the agreement, is null and void. And we call other partners and parties to the agreement not to accept and endorse this illegal treachery. We call upon the members who attended the gathering, the members of the SPLM, SPLA-IO, who attended the gathering, to resist mobilization by the suspended members of the party, members who are placed under discipline with the credible charges laid on them, of which we have the full evidence. We call upon our members not to listen to the ploy of deception and abrogation of the agreement. Your leadership is fully aware of the difficult situation we are dealing with. We are under the scenario of abrogation of the agreement. Finally, I would like to reiterate that the SPLM, SPLA-IO condemns in the strongest term possible any attempt to violate the RRCs under whatever name or form, and we remain committed to the full implementation of the agreement in letter and spirit.
ده كان ويد نتانيال اللي بيصف اجتماع بتاع امبارح بتاع الحركة الشعبية في المعارضة في جوبا بتعين بتاع ستيفن باركوال كرئيس مؤقت بأنه باطل ولاغي، وهو بيعيد التزام بتاع بتنفيذ اتفاقية السلام. وهو شرح هناك دستور بتاع الحركة الشعبية في المعارضة انه طبعا ده كله ما بيصب او ما دستور ما بيدعم او ما بيساعد في الخطوة اللي قاموا به امبارح. دقائق قليلة لرأس الساعة نمشي لفاصل بسيط انه حنرفع مكالمتين قبل ما نمشي للاخبار.
This is iRadio. When contributing to a topic on the radio, please avoid statements that may incite or promote hate. We encourage constructive points of views and criticisms that aim at providing solutions to problems facing the country. We do not want rumor mongering or information that is regarded as hearsays. We advocate for messages of peace and unity among the people of South Sudan. This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
قدم لنا عن رأيك وتعليقك في الموضوع ده. احنا سمعنا قبل شوية من ستيفن باركوال ومن أويد نتانيال بكل اختصار لأنه الزمن ما لصالحنا. iRadio. حلو iRadio. مجوق تفضل طوالي.
طبعا شو بتناقضات كيف؟ فأنا شايف الشرع اللي قالوا ويدنا تالي ده زي الشرع اللي ماله اسلم ما عنده دستور. أول حاجة ما في صلاحية للوزير إنه هو ينادي الاجتماع أول حاجة عملوا ده ما عملوا في إدارة اسلم كويس. يعني إذا كان اللي ما عنده الشرعية ما يعملوا في إدارة اسلم في تنظيم، واللي مش يعملوا في فندق ليه؟ الاثنين برضه يعني في بعض العناصر ما مش مجموعة بتاع فاركل ده نفس المجموعة اللي كان نفس الحركة كان عمل تعبان ده كويس. وده طبعا المهندسين المخططين أسلوا الدائرة خرب المنبر ده ما هم شغالين بقروشهم بأموالهم إنه الجسم ده يتفرتك كويس. الجسم ده بقى زي بعض فحتى هم بيقول خلال نهاية المطاف. فأنا شايف طبعا ده هل كلام رافار ولا لغى تعيين من الغاية من الجناب بدأ أسفل ما يوم ولا هنا بس في جوبا بس. إذا في جوبا هنا معناه أنا بنتهي في جوبا كويس. يعني لا أنا شايف الخطاب اللي قالوا ويده هي صح كويس. تفسيره مع واضح يعني حتى الاتفاقية ذاته ما خطأ أسماء بتاع الناس الرئيس كير والنائب على ودي تغريق مشاهد يعني إذا ده خطأ بتاع الناس اللي كان عمل مديرية بتاع الاتفاقية يفترض ما ياخدها مع ناس لكن ما دام أسماء موجود ورئيس موجود وكير موجود هم المسؤولين في الاتفاقية. عشان كده يفترض إذا أنا داير الكلام ده يمشي خلي الجوريين مشاريع خليه يعملوا مستجيشن بتاعنا. إذا خليه بالليل يعني هو إذا ارتكب جريمة خليه يكون بالسجن وبعدين يفوز زول وإذا ما ارتكب جريمة خليه يفكوه والفوضى يمشي. أما موضوع الأفكار كلنا نشوف نهايته شنو. ده برنامج يعني. الحركة النادي وكده. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا لك أستاذ مجوق. راديو. نعم نرفع مكالمة ثانية على 1122 986 راديو.
Akile.
Yes.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Joseph. Welcome. Be brief.
This is very big confusion, my brother. What we want is peace. Or yet it's not supposed to be outside the country. He's supposed to be acting chairman of the IO and hold their meeting. From day one, when those Minister of Petroleum and General Duop, they were arrested, there were no meeting called by the IO, by themselves, including chairman. If they took 1 month without a meeting by the acting chairman in accordance to what Oyet say, what to happen there? They had to set down those who are in Juba to appoint the new leadership because they know that leadership is not in place. So yet he is really to be blamed because he's working on social media and he's not in the ground. If party is to be in social media, why is not called them to be in social media always? So the main point now it is to them to unite and then to come to our point as a South Sudanese we want peace. They are now divided, which means there is a war in progress on them. So what we want as a South Sudanese, let them convene themselves because they are members of that party for all along. All this time they are members who form that IO. So we call for them to accept peace, not always
Right.
the shortcut.
Thank you very much, Joseph. And we're yet to ascertain the reason why he is not in the country. We leave it there for now. Up next, news in English with Lasuba Memo. بعد الأخبار لسه نرفع بعد من المكالمات. We'll pick few calls after the news in English before we move to the next item. Don't touch your dial. Good morning.
عزيزي مستمع إذاعة آي راديو، لما تشارك في أي موضوع على الإذاعة أرجوك تفادي تصريحات بتحرض أو بيشجع على الكراهية. إحنا بنشجع نقد بناء وآراء هادفة اللي بتهدف إلى توفير الحلول للمشاكل اللي بتواجه الدولة. إحنا ما دايرين ترويج للشائعات أو المعلومات اللي بتعتبر بأنها شائعة أو أغاويل. إحنا بندعو إلى رسائل السلام والوحدة بين مواطنين جنوب السودان. ده آي راديو، عينك على جنوب السودان.
Good morning, it's iRadio.
Looking for the perfect radio partner? iRadio is your answer. Why choose iRadio? Here are the 5 compiling reasons.
Trust and reach. iRadio stands as the most trusted and popular radio station in South Sudan. Backed by recent surveys with a loyal listener base, your message will reach a wide audience effectively.
Extensive network, iRadio is not just a radio station. It's a network of interconnected stations. When you partner with iRadio, we'll broadcast your program across multiple locations such as Wow, Awil, Kwajok, Yambio, Bor, Rang, Malakal, and Baliet, ensuring maximum coverage and impact.
Regional presence. iRadio footprint extends to the states of Western and Northern Bahr el Ghazal, Western and Central Equatoria, Jonglei, Upper Nile, and Warab. By collaborating with iRadio, you can connect with diverse communities and target audiences in these regions.
Community engagement partnering with iRadio means engaging with communities at a grassroots levels. Your message will resonate with listeners in various locations, fostering meaningful interactions and driving brand awareness.
Comprehensive coverage with stations in strategic locations like Reng, Malakal, and Baliet. iRadio offers comprehensive coverage that reaches both urban centers and remote areas. Your partnership with iRadio ensures visibility across a wide geographic area.
This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The economic cluster headed by Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel has approved 62 billion South Sudanese pounds to support farming activities ahead of the upcoming rainy season, with key resolutions aimed at stimulating economic development in the country. President Salva Kiir's relief Foreign Minister Ramadan Mohamed Abdallah Goch replaced him with his deputy Monday Semaya Kumba. And the Congolese national Makula Kintu, whose citizenship sparked a diplomatic row between South Sudan and the United States, arrived in Juba yesterday and was welcomed by immigration authorities. These are stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. The economic cluster headed by Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel has approved 62 billion South Sudan pounds to support farming activities ahead of the rainy season, with key resolutions aimed at stimulating economic development in the country. The cluster has set a 100-day target to actualize the plans focused on revitalizing farming systems, increasing domestic food production, and securing long-term agricultural sustainability. With agriculture and food security at the core of the agenda, all state governors and chief administrators have been directed to allocate 250,000 hectares of land each for agricultural use. A statement from the Vice President's office said this move will expand cultivation, empower local communities, and maximize the country's vast agricultural potential. To further advance these goals, the cluster has tasked Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Lily Albino Cole, with forming a special committee to prepare for a national agricultural conference. This yet-to-be scheduled conference will bring together stakeholders to unlock investments and foster innovative solutions that aim to transform the agricultural sector. In his concluding remarks on Wednesday, Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel urged members of the economic cluster to move swiftly from policy to action, stressing that only through timely and effective implementation can the government bring about real and lasting change for the people of South Sudan. The government, according to the cluster, has pledged continued support for farmers, provision of critical resources, and the creation of a conducive environment for sustainable agricultural development. The statement added, and I quote, "These actions are expected to spur economic growth, create employment opportunities, and ensure that every South Sudanese has access to sufficient and accessible food," end quote. The mid-week meeting chaired by Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel was attended by various officials, including Finance Minister Dr. Mariel Tongring Ater, Agriculture and Food Security Minister Hussein Abdel Bagi, Animal and Fisheries Minister Onyotia Digonyekwach, Wildlife, Tourism and Conservation Minister Rizik Hassan Zakaria, and the Minister of Mining, among others. President Salva Kiir has relieved Foreign Minister Ramadan Mohamed Abdallah Goj and replaced him with his deputy Monday Semaya Kumba. This was through a presidential decree read on the state broadcaster last evening. Goj served as a deputy minister to the ministry in 2023 when he replaced James Morgan as the minister and was deputized by the incoming minister Semaya Kumba. In a separate decree, President Salva Kiir revoked the appointment of national lawmaker Albino Mathom. Albino was the former head of the government delegation to the Tumaini peace talks in Nairobi, Kenya. The Congolese national Makula Kintu, whose citizenship is sparked a diplomatic row between South Sudan and the United States, arrived in Juba yesterday and was welcomed by immigration authorities. Mr. Kintu was first deported along with dozens of other South Sudanese nationals on April 5th. Upon his arrival at Juba Airport that time, the South Sudanese immigration authorities determined that he was not a South Sudanese citizen, but rather from the Emma tribe in North Kivu province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He was then sent back to the host country, prompting Washington to accuse Juba of rejecting its citizens. Secretary of State Marco Rubio responded by revoking visas for all South Sudanese passport holders and halting the entry of new arrivals. On Tuesday, April 8th, the South Sudan government announced that Mr. Kintu was granted permission to enter the country in the spirit of maintaining friendly relations between South Sudan and the United States. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ambassador Puk Ayuel announced in a press statement yesterday that Mr. Kintu's deportation flight landed in Juba at 1:30 on Wednesday. Mr. Kintu was received by the Director General of Immigration and the Directors of Consular Services and the American and Caribbean Departments of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. American embassy officials were also present during Mr. Kintu's reception. This is iRadio Morning News. And to the international scene, China has slapped retaliatory tariffs of 84% on all U.S. imports, deepening a trade war between Beijing and Washington. It comes as Trump had earlier put a 104% tariff on Chinese goods, but later raised this to 125%, citing a lack of respect from China. However, Trump has paused higher tariffs on other countries, though a universal 10% levy will be in place. Financial markets in Asia jumped following news of the reprieve, with one expert saying the region is breathing a massive sigh of relief. In the U.S., Wall Street made historic gains on Wednesday following days of economic turmoil. UK scientists claim a saliva test may help turn the tide on prostate cancer. It analyzes men's DNA to work out who has borne with the greatest risk of developing the disease, targeting them for prostate biopsy and MRI scans discovered some aggressive cancers that could otherwise have gone unnoticed. However, the test has not yet been proven to save lives, and experts say it will be years before such tests could be used routinely. Around 12,000 men in the UK die from prostate cancer every year. This is iRadio Morning News. And to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. The economic cluster headed by Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel has approved 62 billion South Sudan pounds to support farming activities ahead of their rainy season, with key resolutions aimed at stimulating economic development in the country. President Salva Kiir has relieved Foreign Minister Ramadan Mohamed Abdallah Goj and replaced him with his deputy Monday Semaya Kumba. The Congolese national Makula Kintu, whose citizenship is sparked a diplomatic row between South Sudan and the United States, arrived in Juba yesterday and was welcomed by immigration authorities. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I'm the Suba Memo. Thank you for listening.
تفتش على راديو مثالي؟ آي راديو هو جوابك. ليه تختار آي راديو؟ في 5 الأسباب المغنادل.
الثقة والوصول. بيعتبر آي راديو المحطة الإذاعية الأكثر ثقة وشعبية في جنوب السودان، مدعومة بالاستطلاعات الأخيرة مع قاعدة مستمعين مخلصين. حتصل رسالتك إلى جمهور واسع بشكل فعال.
شبكة واسعة النطاق. آي راديو ليست مجرد محطة إذاعية، إنها شبكة من المحطات المترابطة. لم تكن شريك مع آي راديو. سنقوم ببث برنامجك عبر مواقع متعددة مثل واو، أويل، كواجوك، يامبيو، بور، رنگ، ملكال وباليت، وبيضمن أقصى قدرة من التغطية والتأثير.
التواجد الإقليمي. بتمتد بصمة آي راديو إلى ولاية غرب وشمال بحر الغزال، غرب والاستوائية الوسطى، جونغلي، أعالي النيل وواراب. من خلال التعاون مع آي راديو يمكنك التواصل مع المجتمعات المتنوعة والجماهير المستهدفة في المناطق ديل.
مشاركة المجتمع. الشراكة مع آي راديو بتعني التعامل مع مجتمعات على مستوى الشعبي. رسالتك حتوصل للمستمعين في مواقع مختلف، مما يعزز التفاعلات الهاتفة ويزيد الوعي بعلامة تجارية.
التغطية الشاملة مع محطات في مواقع استراتيجية زي الرنج، ملكال وباليت. بتوفر آي راديو تغطية شاملة بتصل إلى كل من المراكز الحضرية والمناطق الريفية. بتضمن شراكتك مع آي راديو الرؤية عبر منطقة جغرافية واسعة.
ما تفوت فرصة توسيع نطاق رسالتك باستخدام آي راديو. شارك أو أعلن معنا الليلة وخلي صوتك مسموع في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان.
آي راديو لأخبار الموزون اللي تكون بيتمت فوقه من كل جنوب السودان ومن برا جنوب السودان. أسمع تكون لآي راديو أنا تكون في جنوب السودان.
on I Radio.
Yes, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second half of the Dawn program here on iRadio, live broadcast from the capital, Juba. I am your host, Emmanuel Joseph Akile, and it's Thursday, the 10th of April 2025, coming to 14 minutes now after the hour of 7. نواصل ونرفع البعض من المكالمات قبل ما نمشي للفقرة الثانية، وده في الفقرة الأولى اللي احنا سمينا من وزير السلام ستيفن باركول اللي هو هناك اتكلم للإعلام امبارح عن اختياره من قبل الحركة الشعبية في المعارضة كالرئيس المؤقت لحد ما يتم الإفراج عن الدكتور رياك مشار تاني. وسمعنا من ويتنا تاني اللي بيقول الكلام ده null and void أو باطل ولاغي، لأنه ده ما حاجة دستوري على حسب الحركة الشعبية. رأيك شنو في الكلام ده؟ واصل واتصل علينا. راديو.
الو راديو.
سلطان.
إيمانويل أكيلي.
نعم.
هو طبعا يا إيمانويل أكيلي مع الاتفاقية بين حزب والحزب ما بكون في رئيس وفي النائب بتاعه وفي مكتب القيادي والمكتب التنفيذي كبير. طيب إذا أصل مشكلة في الرئيس كويس، أصل مشكلة في الرئيس والنائب بتاعه ذات جرى برا قاعد برا كويس. طيب والوزير ده ما كان متقل والنهاية يعوفكوا وقام قاعد ونظم نفوذهم وعي الناس بفترة انتقالية. يعني قال اننا بشكل لما الرئيس يجي بيجي، يعني ما في مشكلة في دي يا جماعة كويس. لو كان الرئيس ده كان قاعد ومن قاعدوا يا بقول زي انقلاب، لكن ده تنظيم. طيب القيادات في 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 ايو سياسيين ومن جرى برا، والقيادات في داخل العسكرية ومن جرى برا. طيب القاعدة الشعبية القاعدة ده بدل معمولين يا جماعة. فكلمة ننظم نفوذهم ويواصل مع حكومة ويواصل مع مجتمع الدولي البيجي عشان بكون في رئيس ذاته البيجي بقعد في اجتماعات. يعني اصلا لو جاي قاعد وين ودكتوريا هو في السجن. طيب وين النائب بتاعه؟ وين زول البادو عشان يفهم مع الناس ويقعد مع حكومة ذاته ويقعد عند مع حكومة لسه قاعد وين اتفاقية في معلو. يعني ما ينهار لما بعدين قد يبدأ الدوريات انتهى وبعدين يرجع بينها ما في مشكلة يا جماعة. نعم ما يكون قلقانين ويعمل ما في عمل زي وسام بقول قال بالعجاب والقرايب. ما يكون في عجاب والقرايب يا جماعة. فكان لازم يكون في التنظيم الداخلي عند حزب الحزب ده يعني لازم يكون في نائب ويكون في نائبة ثانية عشان يمشي أمور فما في مشكلة كلمة نقول بدون مشاكل يعني هسه إذا كان جرالات كلهم جرى برا وسياسيين جرى برا زي الثاني ده يعني هسه ما في هو برا مكتب توزع قبل
ما كلهم جروا في تانيين قاعدين
يا ايوه تانيين قاعدين سبب تانيين قاعدين ده يعني ما يقعد في بيوته ما يوصل في مكاتبه محكومة هم الحكومة لسه وين ما الحكومة لسه يعني ما يقعد في بيوته يعني بدون تنظيم ما بيجي خلي السفن ده يكون ليدر لما ده يجي بعدين وبعدين يسلموا ما في مشكلة يعني.
شكرا لك. هو متفق مع الخطوة ده لأنه ده حاجة مؤقت. راديو.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
Yes, good morning.
It's Jandin.
Go ahead.
Emmanuel, I think this is what I've just said in the morning. The cheap politics will never protect our country from disrespect in the region. شوف ناس ستيفن فارد ما في داعي هم يعملوا التشكيلة بتاعهم رئيس نائب رئيس سكرتيري جنرال ده حاجات شنو you need to make the process for your leader to come out. Why do you want to form another leadership? Will you negotiate with who as the leader of IO? Then which leader again you want? And already you are a leader. You are a leader, you are the chairman. Again you are calling for another chairman. Which chairman? The constitution is right. So you cannot debate yourself a chairman and again you want for another that you call for a chairman. That my chairman of chairman. Kalam the way. نحن جماعة سياسة ما يلقوا تساعد. مفروض إنه ناس ستيفن بالمجموعة بتاع أمبارح they have to call for release of the chairman of the party. Then let them continue dialogue with the government that they have right, they have remain in the country. That's what I like in them. Let them not run away, but they have to continue. They just let them secretly delegate themselves. Just form a committee, a mayor committee. That is supposed to be the head of the committee, not the chairman of the party. Committee, that as the committee, they continue mobilizing the government, mobilizing the region for the dialogue, internal dialogue. And then what the only thing they are supposed to do yesterday is the only person they're supposed to release yesterday is the guy who is in Uganda. That guy who is talking in Uganda is the right person to be dismissed totally from the IO because he's not even playing a politics. It's a moment to go to you when Dr. Tamu Jota in Nagaland never is in chair. The man who yet in our Mabar that who position. We hit the Mabar says who Madaka Malaja Vitado Jara. Ugal Lemon, Salu Matar Galana Bar, to Mat Tarpuni, the set of Tawiras will say the fashion. Pan Talib in Stephen into dismantle this leadership into Rodarin in Iowa, Kunzemahu, into Derin Iowa, Zemahu. They're supposed to form themselves as a committee. My Kun chair or deputy chair or secretary general. They just form a main committee of the IO, Juba IO committee, then they continue lobby until Victoria is released or taken to the court. They follow him to the court. And
right.
They confirm that the guy is already in the court. Then now they have to come and form a new leadership. But not a while is there who bother to the guy to go there to tell him. But this is a conflict within IO that will never solve itself. We are calling upon the international communities now and the party and the government and the agreement and the grantors of the agreement to intervene. Otherwise, it is total mess in mess. We are even considered a citizen. Thank you.
All right, thank you. قال احنا confused as citizens. ده كلام بتاعه هناك بنادي من أجل التدخل الإقليمي والدولي. Daniel Choldeng wrote on our Facebook saying good morning. He's watching us live from Gambela, Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, Gambela region. He's saying, my brother Joseph, for changing the IO chairman, it's totally a violation of the peace agreement and nothing is going to change in this country at all. This is his reaction to the selection of Stephen Parkour as the interim chair of the SPLM-IO until Dr. Riek Machar's release. Page Garwij wrote, good morning, Emmanuel. I'm watching live from Juba, High Lokulili residential area. Now, the Palm Africa declaration in Juba totally undermined the structure of SPLM, SPLA-IO. Therefore, for the group of Palm Africa, it will not reach the ground to talk with the SPLM, SPLA-IO. In my opinion, I do support Oyed because the SPLM-IO structure is very clear and all the institution structure is clear. When the chairman isn't there, his deputy will act accordingly. So far, Oyed is acting chairman until the chairman is released. Radio.
Hello, good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning to you.
Yes, you are connecting with Darwan Gang in Jabal.
Welcome.
Thank you. So what I can say, we have right as citizens of South Sudan for the confusion that will fueling in the government of IU. It is not our problem as citizens of South Sudan. We support whoever bring peace to South Sudan. Peace was signed in 2018. Plus that peace of Tumaini in Nairobi. All are in place, doing themselves slowly. Some are paid and some are there. When the mess come, let the one who is in Kampala or where he is, that is going to be chairman of IU. Let him come in. When something occurs, as something very little between government and IU, let them come and handle. As all one talking, let you people return to the dialogue. Let South Sudanese, let our government return to dialogue. And when there is someone who raises his hand up, I'm going to follow that peace. This is what we can support as South Sudanese citizens. So for my view, let we not argue or victimize those people who are known themselves to follow the peace. Peace is not for one person. Peace is all of South Sudanese. When someone raising his hand, I'm going to bring peace. And our president, Salva Kiir Mayardit, said we need the person who will bring peace. We can stand with him. And we support the one who support the peace. We need only peace. It is a time for cultivating now. We don't want people of South Sudan to go back to the war, as our president said. He will not take South Sudan to war again. Let we follow that one. And he said in the first place, let we forget the past and open the new chapter. See, let we follow peace.
Right.
This is what I can say, and thank you.
Thank you very much. رسالة بتاع السلام. What we want is peace. Radio. نعم، نرفع آخر مكالمة قبل ما نمشي للفقرة القادمة. Radio.
Akile.
Yes.
Good morning, my brother.
Go ahead.
I was affected by the news headline. The statement is a big confusion, but without political interest. If president went out, there's no somebody remain as active. If chairman went out, there's no somebody to remain active. So the meaning of the acting basis is must to be in the residence of the leadership. You must be acting within the captain city. Even the governors, when they come to Juba, there is a governor which is acting in the state, that level. So jurisdiction must be considered as an issue. So now I've seen people contributing their interest, their political interest, but it's not true. These people, they are confused because if Dr. Yassin in detention, he's supposed to tell his leadership to be together and then wait for what's going on. If people going there to say in abroad and call for the dialogue of the government with them, this government is it to be dissolved, to start the new agreement with the government. If they want to be with this agreement, let them be within inside here. This government officials, there is our day that Stephen went to the meeting and suspend meeting of security mechanism, and that meeting, the chairman called for their members to not go for that peace mechanism party representation, and that one is confusion did by the chairman himself. is supposed to call his deputy with the members of the political bureau. You maintain our position as a party. I will be in my home as a detained person, but don't go far to be in peace, because we are doing peace. If they are doing that, they're going out for the reason that accusation being improved, because accusation was not improved for all along. But if they run away, which means what's done by themselves is true, but there is a member that are loitering in the captaincy here without information. So the party has problems. They are supposed to be seen by our members of the audio.
Right.
These people, they have different view more than the country views.
Thank you. ده تعليق بيجي من جوزيف برضه هناك في مونيكي في جوبا، بيجيب لنا نهاية بتاع الفقرة ده، مش فاصل ونرجع.
في جنوب السودان.
Right, and welcome back from the break. Now we move to the next item, where a former judge in Juba is calling on the government to either transfer a deported Congolese national to their embassy in Juba or subject him to trial. Gary Raimondo stated that the issue should actually be addressed by the East African Community laws, as the individual in question is a citizen of a partner state. He emphasized that if investigations reveal any criminal activity, the individual should be subject to the legal framework of both South Sudan and the East African Community Common Market Protocol. Raimondo pointed out that Article 7 of the East African Common Market Protocol stipulates that any person who commits a crime within South Sudan is subject to the country's law. He also clarified that the protocols of the East African Community apply because the individual is a citizen of one of the member states. The issue emerged after the government confirmed that Mr. Makula Kintu, a foreign national deported to Juba by the U.S. on April 6, was granted entry to South Sudan. And Kintu, according to Foreign Affairs Ministry, arrived in Juba yesterday. So Judge Gary advised the Ministry of Interior to resolve the issue in line with the East African regulations. Let's listen to Gary Raimondo, who spoke in an exclusive interview with my colleague Obach Ukuchagawa yesterday.
For the person who alleged to be from Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and it was proven in the airport that he has a travel document issued from the government of South Sudan. First and foremost, we are mindful of South Sudan is a partner state of East African Community. Likewise, DRC is a partner state of East African Community, and we are governed by the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community, which came into force in 2000, and therefore we have also another document called Common Market Protocol. And in Common Market Protocol, in Article 7, they provided for freedom of movement among the citizens of East African Community. So the DRC citizen who enters to South Sudan with a document has the right to come to South Sudan, and this is according to provision of Article 6 of the Treaty of East African Community, which allows or directs South Sudan or any partner state to abide by the rule of law, accountability, promotion of human rights within the community. So therefore, the government of South Sudan, the Directorate of Passport and Immigration, they have to consider all these laws. And since the person brought back from the United States of America is DRC, we have the ambassador of DRC in Juba, and we want to hear also the voice of His Excellency, the ambassador of DRC, about his own citizen, who is now in the partner state, South Sudan. My advice to the government is that to receive this person and to hand over him to the ambassador. And if they investigate that he has committed a crime, that one is a different issue, and therefore is subject to the laws of South Sudan. He's subject to the laws of South Sudan as ordinary citizen. And since he's a citizen of East African Community, he also enjoys the right of okay? Because in our constitution, in Article 45, Clause 5, an alien, a non-South Sudanese may acquire the citizenship of South Sudan by nationalization according to the law. And the law provided here is the Nationality Act of 2011 and laws of South Sudan. So in South Sudan, in our constitution, in Article 45, Clause 1, you may have dual citizenship. You may be a South Sudanese or a DRC citizen. You may be a Uganda citizen and South Sudanese citizen. You may be a Kenyan citizen and South Sudanese citizen. You may be a citizen and a South Sudanese. Australian citizen, South Sudanese. It's provided here in our constitution, in this Article 45, Clause 5 of the Constitution of South Sudan, 2011, as amended.
Yes, and also, Molana Gary would like to ask also, what should be the legal steps for verifying someone's nationality before issuing such documents? We are talking about this case of these Congolese who were given South Sudan travel document. So what steps, legal steps for verifying someone's nationality before issuing such documents?
This is a good question, but this one, you can refer to Nationality Act of South Sudan. In our Nationality Act, how to acquire nationality certificate or citizenship certificate in South Sudan is provided in section, we have section 8, we have section 10, we have section 11, and we have section 13 of the Nationality Act of South Sudan 2011. So section 8 eligibility requirement to be a South Sudanese by birth, okay? So a person born before or after this act has entered into force shall be considered South Sudanese national by birth if such person meets any of the following requirements. A, any parent, grandparents, or great-great-parents of such a person on the male or female line who are born in South Sudan. Or B, such person belongs to one of the indigenous ethnic community of South Sudan, like you, okay? And like me. Number 2, a person be considered as South Sudanese by birth if at the time of the coming into force of this act, A, he or she has been domiciled in South Sudan since 1st of January 1956. Or B, if any of his or her parents or grandparents have been domiciled in South Sudan since the 1st of January 1956. Paragraph 3. A person born after the commencement of this act shall be a South Sudanese by birth if his or her father or mother was a South Sudanese by birth or nationalization at the time of birth of such person. And finally, subsection 3 of section 8 provides a person who is or was first found in South Sudan as a described infant of unknown person shall, until the contrary is proved, be deemed to be a South Sudanese national by birth. Yes. So this is the first requirement. This is nationality by birth. Then we go to the second one, citizenship by nationalization in section 10. Eligibility requirement. 1 has attained the age of maturity. Age of maturity means 18 years and above. B is of sound mind. C has been resident in South Sudan for a continuous and uninterrupted period of 10 years before the date of the application. D intend to continue to reside permanently in South Sudan, and E has not been convicted of any offense related to honesty and moral turpitude or any other serious offense. So these are the requirements. Then the second one is citizenship by naturalization. So here we call it citizenship by naturalization is awarded by the president. We call it citizenship by presidential degree. Provided in section 11, subsection 3, the president may, upon the recommendation of the Minister of Interior, issue a citizenship by naturalization to an alien who has served South Sudan in a capacity which is considered to have been in the national interest. And the Minister of Interior has a committee called Alien Committee. These are the people to study the case, because these are the subordinates of the Minister of Interior, and they want to study the case, then they will recommend it to the Minister, then the Minister will forward it to His Excellency, the President of the country. The last one
is provided in Section 13 of the Nationality Act, which is citizenship by naturalization by marriage. So this requirement is an alien married to a South Sudanese national may acquire a citizenship by naturalization upon the approval of the Minister of Interior on application submitted in accordance with the provision with the procedure set forth in the regulation. If such alien is a lawful wife or husband of a South Sudanese national and has been living with her husband or his wife in South Sudan for a continuous period of not less than 5 years before the date of his or her application. This is the thing. These are the conditions that led the people of South Sudan.
Yes, and before we wind up, we want to talk about the issue of accountability and document integrity. Is there any legal liability for the South Sudanese officials who may have approved or issued the travel document for this Congolese deportee from the U.S.?
Yeah, for us, whenever the accused is considered to be innocent until it is proved beyond reasonable doubt, and this is provided in Article 19, Clause 1 of our Constitution, Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan 2011. Nobody is above the law. Nobody is above the law. If you contravene, you violate any laws of South Sudan, if you are an official, you are subject to two. You are subject to administrative measures, discipline, and you are also subject to criminal measures under the penal code of South Sudan 2008. If you commit forgery or you receive bribe, so you are subject there to be you are answerable before the law under the relevant laws such as the Penal Code Act 2008 plus the other relevant laws. If the official is a police officer, he is also subject to police accountability there. You have the Police Act and the police regulations. So in South Sudan, nobody is above the law.
Nobody is above the law. ده هناك غيري رايموندو وهو قاضي سابق بعضو جوبا إنه إلى إنه أو الحكومة إلى إنه إما ينقل مواطن الكونغولي اللي طبعا رجعوه من أمريكا لجنوب السودان ينقلوا للمحكمة ويشيلوا للسفارة بتاعه. أكد جيري رايموندو إنه القضية ده لازم يتم معالجة بتاعه بموجب قوانين بتاع دول شرق إفريقيا لأنه الشخص المعني مواطن لدولة شريكة. وأكد إنه في حال كشفت التحقيقات عن أي نشاط إجرامي فيجب إنه يخضع الشخص المعني للإطار القانوني لكل من جنوب السودان وبروتوكول السوق المشتركة لدول بتاع شرق إفريقيا. جبنا لحوالي دقائق قليلة ل20 دقيقة لرأس الساعة. خلينا نمشي لفاصل ومنه حنجي نواصل. ما تمشي بعيد من الراديو بتاعك. صباح الخير. وده الوقت اللي فيه نرفع المكالمات. اتصل علينا وهل انت متفق مع الخطوة ده اي راديو او من رايدا؟ نعم استاذ مجوك تفضل.
تعرف كلام ترى طبعا كلام اذا كان الناس يبدوا قانون في جنوب السودان كلام القال ده ما بذل فوق القانون لكن في جنوب السودان في ناس فوق القانون يعني قاعد يعمل لنا ناس معينين ما قاعد يعمل لنا ناس كله. اول حاجه طيب الزول ده هو غلطان في شنو؟ الزول ده ما ادوه تراب الدوغ في جنوب السودان كويس؟ فالزول طلع دوغ من ذاته ده المفروض زول يابا حسبه كويس؟ اذا ده السفار بتاعنا الناس بتاع السفار المفروض يابا يتحاسب لانه هم اللي ودوا الدوغ من النار للاجنبي كويس؟ في نفس الربع الجنوبي. نبغى نعمل موضوع بتاع انه الزول يكون بجنسيتين ده يعني ممكن تكون الجنسيه بتاع يوغندا وجنوب السودان وبتاع كينيا بتاع جنوب السودان بتاع كونغو ده صار ما بشكل اجرام ذاته لانه الحاسه ممكن زول يعمل اجرام ذاته باسم دوله كويس. فانا شايف الاجراء ده يفترض بعدين ينادوا لهم امريكا اللي يعمل ديبورتيشن للناس. ما يعمل ديبورتيشن للناس كيف؟ ناس مجرمين ناس قاعدين يشربوا مدينه تاجر ومقدره وكلام فارغ ما خليه يرجع لبلدهم كويس. ده حق امريكا. الناس قال ما يحتاج المفروض الجنوبيين زار قاعدين عطاله تاجر خلينا نرجعهم للجنوب هنا لانه ما بقدر فيه فايده. امريكا ما بقدر فوق تاج بدون ما انت تدير الفايده للبلد بتاعهم كويس. ما قدرنا عطاله. انا شايف الاجراء ده اجراء صحيح. زول ده المفروض يمشي ياخذ اجراء المحكمه اذا لقوا مجرم وفقا للبروتوكول بتاع افريقيا زول ده يتحاسب كويس لانه هو ترى انا امريكا عملوا ديبورتيشن لما بكون عملوا مشكله هناك اما يكون مجرم اما يكون زول تاجر المخدرات اما يكون زول اعطاه ساعه زول ما عنده فائده عشان كده عملوا ديبورتيشن فانا بشوف انه الزول ما يقعد هنا معنا هنا خليه يعمل تنسيق مع سفاره حقه من في كونغو يشوف الزول خليه في محكمه انا شايف كلام طاهر ايمان ده كلام في ما لكن قانون وين في جنوب السودان ما قانون مايل يعني هو قانون ذاته ابو كرم الناس معينين وباقي ناس زايدين خليه قادرين عاملين اجراءات في السودان وقاعدين ما قدروا بيشيلوا محكمه شكرا جزيلا.
Alright, شكرا. ده تعليق من مجوك اي راديو. هلا راديو. نعم اي راديو.
السلام عليكم.
Alright, معلش صوتك ما واضح هناك. اي راديو.
Good morning, brother.
Yes, Ding Ding, welcome.
Thank you, brother. Emmanuel, this is a right thing that the person has said. Actually, in a setting of a nation, the country is set through law, and the bone of the country and the blood of that country is law. The blood that runs in the vein of the nation, as a country, as a separate nation, is a law. So, but if you ignore the law, that you are paralyzed. It's like the person who is traumatized, who is sick, has mental problem and traumatized. This is what is happening in the country. South Sudan is a country that has its blood are not running in the system because the law are not well regarded by the leaders. And who protect the law? It is the leaders. That's why citizens sit and form the country, form a leadership, president, judiciary, and the parliament. This executive, judiciary, and the parliament. These are the government. They are there to all what they do is to protect the law of the nation and to make sure that the country is reflected to what the world is doing. So it is like what you do as Emmanuel Joseph Akile as a president. You want to be like others. You need to be a role model to others. And also there is somebody who is your role model, who is role model to you. South Sudan don't want to be like any country in the world. I don't know why. So this supposed to be there that whatever from the beginning should not ever reach this level. These are Congolese citizens. لما جاء في المطار ده المفروض كان يستقبلوه ودخلوا يشيلوه وتسجن ما كانوا يخلوه يرجعوه في أمريكا. That's at first place it was the first mistake and it's done by South Sudanese. So sometimes we don't analyze things. Sometimes we employ a cadre that's not able to actually address things.
Right.
هنا بنشتغل ناس دايرين كروت ما بنشتغل ناس دايرين يعملوا حاجة فهنا نشوف إنه بلد أما حاجة قانون فنطالب إنه في قانون يكون ياخد مجراه في أي حاجة.
نعم.
فده معناه we use things in our mind. Thank you.
Thank you Ding Ding بقدم رسالته برضه اي راديو.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, you are connected.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. This issue of this guy who really pushed the South Sudan passport is not a minor thing. It is a very big thing that now destroyed the diplomatic relationship with America. And this is the result of people being above the law, though the speaker just said now that nobody is above the law. But in South Sudan, you see people saying it, even him, when you get him in the corner.
Yeah, it brought a diplomatic standoff, but has not destroyed the relations.
Yes?
I'm saying it brought about diplomatic standoff between the two countries, but did not destroy the relations because of this. Go ahead.
Now, the way they are responding is that if the people are not really diplomatic enough, it will not be in like before, because already now they got disappointment and they took the decision, and as far as engagement go, maybe they may get maybe disappointed somewhere. Okay, let me go to the talking point. So people here talking of people being above the law is obvious. In South Sudan, people are above the law, and this what destroyed country, and that's why that person got passport of South Sudan through people being powerful than law. So
he came through travel document. He does not possess South Sudan passport.
He just possess travel document.
Yes.
Okay. So then the ministry will be questioned, and the person who said that must to be really accounted for and face the law with that guy together. Not that guy, but the signature. How did that signature generated? And that person must be traced out through the signature and who were available by the dead, so that that person really played the law.
All right.
Free him, then he will.
Thank you. ثانك يو جيمس دور. وده بيجيبنا لنهاية بتاع الفقرة ده من الموضوع ده. نمشي لفاصل ومنه هنجي نواصل.
iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Alright, welcome back from the break. Now we move on to the next item in the last for today's edition, where the South Sudan Pensions Fund has launched an awareness and consultative meeting in the Bahr al-Ghazal region. John Ajak is the head of the delegation from South Sudan Pension Fund to the states in the Bahr al-Ghazal. He said the fund is mandated to take care of the pension of all civil servants or retired government employees. South Sudan Pension Fund is receiving also contributions, was actually receiving contributions from Sudan then, but then it is not clear whether it's still receiving or not. So let's listen to John Ajak, who was speaking in WOW and iRadio, got the opportunity to obtain the clip.
South Sudan Pension Fund is taking round visit to the states of Bahr al-Ghazal region. We have started with Western Bahr al-Ghazal. We had a meeting with His Excellency the Governor to discuss matters concerning pension in the states. And in our discussion, we were given a green light to carry out awareness campaign, which we received a lot of questions from the public. These schemes, South Sudan Pension Fund is mandated to take care of the pension for all the civil servant government employees, and we realize there is need to give a wider coverage information to reach out to all the people at the grassroots to know their right, to know what it means to serve for pension. We have conducted a training for the establishment officers to let them know the kind of document that are always required for the benefit calculation. This workshop brought on board all the establishment from ministries of the states, and will proceed to Kwajuk, Warab State, for the same programs. We will be there for 3 days and then go back to Juba, where we are going to plan again to visit other states. We have seen there is a gap that pension system in the country is not established well, and it is only South Sudan Pension Fund, which is the only mandated pension scheme in the country, to give this capacity. I've come with a delegation from Juba, which comprise of technical people from all the department in pension fund that have given the insight about what entails in the pension. In the morning, we received some relevant questions and from the public, of which many of them were pensioners from Sudan. They are South Sudanese, and they worked with the Sudan government before the two countries separated. And after that, they moved to South Sudan, and they don't know the future of their pension. We clarify many parts concerning those people, and they are made aware that South Sudan Pension Fund is in a position to support these people, give them their rights, as long as the file are there with them and they are complete, they have all the documentation that are required for the calculation to be done for their benefits. Up to here, we are very grateful as a team with the way we have been received in Western Bahr al Ghazal state. and we stayed here peacefully. Everything is okay. We have carried out our activities without any interruption, and we thank the facilitation by the Ministry of Labor and Public Service through Director General and other DGs that have come to attend the training this morning. We had a number of participants from all the ministries and DGs who attended this very important training, and it is something that is going to continue in all the 10 state plus 3 administrative areas. We are giving capacity to our people such that they can be able to handle matters to do with pension even at the state level. If there is need for us to come in from the central government and give more insight, we will be doing this as a routine. It is something we shall be carrying out every year, and it can be done twice a year.
ده كان جونا جاك رئيس بتاع وفد من صندوق المعاشات بتاع جنوب السودان اللي هم مشوا لولاية غرب بحر الغزال، وده طبعا هناك في زيارة ميدانية عشان يقوم بعملية بتاع توية وسلسلة من الاجتماعات. ونمشي ونسمع من بعض من المدراء والمدراء العام في بعض من الوزارات في ولاية غرب بحر الغزال اللي هم يتكلموا وقالوا كده.
أنا أستاذ جمعة سليمان رمضان، مدير عام وزارة التربية والتعليم ولاية غرب بحر الغزال، وبالإضافة ممثل الوزير في هذه الورشة. الورشة كانت مفيدة وأدت دافعة للموظفين بتاعتنا على مستوى بتاعت الولاية، وكان بمجهود كبير من مدير عام الخدمة العامة، لأنه هو قدر يشخص الإخوة المساعدين له في كل الوزارات وفي كل أقسامه هنا، وحضروا في هذا الورشة عشان يديهم جرعات كافي لهذا المجال. أيضا أنا بيشيل الشكر لصندوق دعم المعاشات، ده فكر جميل. هم جو للولاية وعدوا الواجب عليهم للولاية. أنا افتكرت بهذه المجهود هم أدوا تأمين للخدمة المدنية. الخدمة المدنية هسه يكون على أمان، لأنه المعاشات قاعد بيهتم ووضع الخدمة المدنية في موقع اهتمامهم. يعني الخدمة المدنية بعد كده حيكون بطريقة أجود، والعاملين حيلقوا استحقاقاتهم بطريقة مدروسة زي ما هم قاطينه في التخطيط بتاعهم. احنا كولاية غرب بحر الغزال محظوظين بالورشة ده، وموظفينا اللاعبين للخدمة العامة أخذوا الكفاية منه. كان في وسطنا كان الخدمة العامة ووزارة المالية وبما فيه الأقسام بتاعت الخدمة العامة في مختلف الوزارات. هم حضروا وأخذوا الكافي من جرعاتهم. أنا متأكد هم حصة كفاية إعدادهم، وهنكون في أمان بتاع الخدمة المدنية. المرة الأخيرة أقول أشكر فيه القيادة بتاعنا على مستوى بتاع الولاية برئاسة الحاكم، الوزراء بتاعنا الممثلين لبابليك سيرفيس، هم والوزير بتاعنا بتاع التربية الماسك بالعناية بحسة. ده مجهود. الخدمة المدنية داير جودة، داير اهتمام، وداير ناس يرجعوا الوصول بتاعه بقنوات الصحيح لتأمينهم. فأنا بناشد الإخوة في صندوق المعاشات هم يكونوا قويين رغم الصعاب. العمل ما سهل، لكن هم يبذلوا مجهود. جنوب السودان كبيرة بيحتاج لشغل، والخدمة المدنية يرجع لحيبة بتاعه.
أنا اسم بتاعي حسن كرامة محمد، ديبوتي دايركتور أوف بنشن ولاية غرب بحر الغزال. اسم تكون فايد عليك. يعني أنا هسه في مكتب بتاع معاشات، لو الناس معاشات اللي جو كده دوب شوية كده نحن بكون في عندنا في حركة. فأنا بتمنى الورك شوب الحس اللي عملناه إن استفدنا فيه كثير. يمكن عرفنا المعاشات اللي كان في جوبا في السودان زمان، الناس اللي كان عندهم معاشات هناك حولوه في جوبا. الحكومة في جوبا هنا هي مسؤولة به، وكل زول مثلا لسه ما عمل الإجراءات بتاعه هيجي يعمل الإجراءات بتاعه عندنا في مكتب هنا. هنعمل له فورمات على حسب الإرشادات اللي لقيناها هنا، على حسب اللي لقيناه في ورك شوب هنا. وعرفنا ذاته المستفيدين من الورك شوب ده، المستفيدين من المعاشات هم ناس منو. ده كله يمكن في حاجات كان فايتة علينا، ويمكن الناس اللي جو من جوبا ما قصروا معانا وشال الحاجات اللي نزلوا لنا بكل عزافره وبقى علينا هسه نحن المسؤولين به. وبعد ده كل زول جاء هنا لازم ندي جرعات ده بنفس الطريقه مثلا ادونا بو في ورك شوب هنا. فاحنا سعيدين في المناسبه، ويمكن ما قسم تماشات براو، يمكن كل الاقسام في بابليك سيرفيس هنا بما فيه كتبه بما فيه الناس اتش ار، لانه كله الناس كله معنيين بالشغل ده، لانه اتش ار هو اللي بيجهز الملف بقوم بيجيبوا لنا نحن كمعاشين نقوم بعد ذاك نعمل تشيك، والتشيك ده لما مره عجينوها بطريقه كويس يمكن نحن بيكونوا كلتانين يمكن في بنمشي في جوبا الجوبا هناك بيقول لك ده ناس يعملوا الكلام ده يرجوه بكون ايه بالنسبه لنا ذاته، لكن الاتش ار بيجهز الملف بيجيبوا لنا احنا بنعمل فوق تشيك، ولازم نرسل الملف ده بطريقه نظيف في جوبا، والزول اللي مشي هناك بيستقبل الملف ما يكون تعبان في اي نوع من شغل ثاني يلقاه جاهز يقوم يدرب الملف بتاع الزول ده يقوم يقدموا له.
انا في تريزي الجزير مدير عام قبل السيد وزاره ولايه غرب الغزال. احنا بنشكر ربنا في الوزاره الليله كان عندنا برنامج بتاع ورشه عمل للقوادر بتاع الخدمه العام بولايه غرب الغزال، فانتهينا من الورشه محشات الرسل التيم بتاع التدريب عشان يدربوا الموظفين في الولايه، واحنا بنشكرهم وبنشكر الوزاره القوميه لهذا المجهود، واننا بنقول انهم يستمروا بالتدريبات في كل الولايات بتاعتنا عشان في النهايه كل العاملين في جنوب السودان يلقوا الحقوق بتاعتهم من المعاش. وده كمان بيشجع انه بخلينا في وزاره الخدمه العام نقدر ندي فرص للشباب. مجموعه كبير من الناس المفروض ينزلوا في المعاشات عشان ندي فرصه للشباب بتاعتنا الحسن عندهم شهادات ما لاقين شغل.
نعم، واحنا سمعنا هناك من بعض من المدراء في الوزارات المختلفة في ولاية غرب بحر الغزال بيتكلموا طبعا في موضوع بتاع سلسلة من الاجتماعات وعمل بتاع ورشة العمل اللي قام به المكتب بتاع المعاشات بتاع جنوب السودان أو صندوق بتاع المعاشات، وده كان هناك في مدينة واو. Yes, with that, we have come to the end of the Dawn edition for today. Join us again tomorrow at the same time to get the latest on what's happening in South Sudan and beyond the borders. Up next, news in Arabic. On behalf of the Dawn team, Paulina Thay, Awan Moses, and producer Barry Johnson, my name is Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Stay safe, stay blessed. Have a good day. We'll meet again tomorrow.